up for Cyber Lunch.
Hey Cyberbots, and welcome back to the lunch table. I'm your host, Daryl. To my right,
Jake.
and to my left,
Justin.
welcome back. Thank you for all the new likes and subscribes out there. You guys are amazing. The tremendous support and positive feedback has warmed our hearts, and we're delighted to share the lunchroom with you. This week, we are going to quickly dive into some lingering horror movies that were sorely missed from our initial 5 picks we would like to bring to light a little better for our listeners. We'll also be starting an early discussion for Game of the Year contenders, our personal favorite movies of the year, our favorite soundtracks of all time. And with that long-winded intro, welcome to Cyber Lunch, a weekly podcast that deals with the nostalgia reflected and integrated into our everyday lives to growing up in the digital revolution, plus a plethora of tangents and passionate discussions with special guests and our favorite music, movies, video games, television shows of the past and today. And with that being said, how you guys doing?
Doing
What's
okay.
up, everybody? I'm just showing Justin my good news I just got from my fantasy alert already. Remember that tight end I said I picked up last
there you
night?
go.
Yeah, it is fantasy season.
Yep.
It is Sunday, football Sunday.
It is football
I can't wait to
Sunday.
lose this week. Anyway.
Oh.
Big old L coming my way.
You're at the top of the list, and you're already complaining.
I can take one.
Well, how many more weeks do we have in the NFL season?
Well, there's in the NFL season, there's
I don't.
What are we on,
I'm
like
just
week
like
8?
blind.
it's 9.
9 already?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I think we have 14 in ours.
Yeah, it's getting down there in fantasy, man.
You know what that means? Super Bowl's coming here.
Oh, that's
be a
Oh,
right.
it's
lot
gonna
of
be
people.
so
Yeah.
annoying.
I
That's
hear
why we're
people are
getting-
renting out their houses for $2,000 a night.
Dude, I would do that if I lived down there. I'd be like, take it. And I don't care. $2,000. I'll go to the game.
My coworker was like, "Yep, I'm gonna rent it out and go on vacation for a week." I was
You know-
like,
you know what I
guess.
heard?
Make
This-
10 grand.
The state of Minnesota spent like $8 billion on road construction this year for it, too.
I was just going to say that because when I was downtown yesterday, just kind of perusing around, it looks completely different.
Well, I don't know if you're
Yeah.
from the cities, if you're listening, but it was just bad road construction. I mean,
The
you can go
cities
anywhere.
being
Yeah.
Minnesota, the
Minnesota.
Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nicollet Mall down there looks crazy good
Yeah,
now.
it looks pretty
Yeah.
cool, man.
Except it doesn't have Macy's anymore.
Yeah,
It's kind of a bummer.
sad day.
don't
Talk
see
about
that
nostalgia,
Christmas.
man. I
Brick
went
and
through
mortar,
there.
it's going away.
It is.
It's
First, you got rid of all
hollowing out.
the
Barnes
movie
and Noble.
stores.
Yep, video. Oh,
No,
video
Barnes
stores.
and Noble's still there. It's Borders that's gone.
I thought Barnes and Noble was going under too. That's what I
There's
heard.
still a couple around.
Thank you, Internet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
and
mostly
Amazon.
Amazon, and they're building a new warehouse out in
Shakopee here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota.
Shaq.
This isn't very relevant. We just went right into a tangent.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wasted no time on talking about
Somewhat segmented.
nothing. Yeah.
Yes, of course. We're gonna jump right into Game of the Year.
Let's do it.
So far. I mean, it's hard to say.
And our personal, because we haven't played everything.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we
Except
played a
you.
lot. I feel like I've played a lot of, not everything, but most of the main titles that came out this year.
Well,
I mean,
one of your main ones I haven't played.
That
So,
is true. Well, that's
but-
because I'm surrounded over here because I'm apparently the only Nintendo fanboy in the room.
No, it's just I don't
You
wanna,
are.
Well, yeah, you
That's true.
You are.
I'm
But-
not that big of a fanboy. Like, I don't own Amiibo, and that's huge in some of these games.
Amiibo. I just think of Target and hearing that thing go off. Just Amiibo.
I was curious. I was like, man, like, what if I started being an Amiibo collector? And I was just like, I wonder how many there are. You know how many there are?
There's
1,500.
Yeah.
At least. No, at least 1,500,
yeah,
I think.
but some of them are sick looking though.
I know, but think about it. 1,500, you're paying $20 a pop, and if it's a special one that you can't get and you're having to buy it up charged on eBay or something like that.
No,
So what's the difference between those and like the Disney Infinity and Skylanders?
same
and
thing.
It's the same
Nintendo
thing, but I
branded.
think the characters, I don't know.
Well, they scan directly onto the
Well, yeah,
onto the
it's
console
an
rather
actual
than having a.
physical toy and then a
Yeah, then
mini
you scan
game.
it.
man.
There-
I thought I was annoying back when we used to ask for action figures, but
Ugh.
1,500, jeez.
So with that being said, I'm pretty sure this. I'm just gonna touch on this quick. We're not gonna go into it. Super Mario Odyssey. There's a guy right when you get out of your aircraft or whatever. His name is Uncle Amiibo, and he's a robot. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, but I heard through the grapevine that all the Amiibos work or do something.
In the game, really?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I know, but it's just like I'm not willing to invest that much money. So there's different levels of fanboy. I just enjoy Nintendo games because they've always, I don't know, been AAA. They've always had that polish, and with less hardware, they're still making it look beautiful and run. Like, I can't believe that game runs on the Switch, Super Mario Odyssey.
Nintendo, for me, lost me at motion control.
Yeah, they're gimmicky, and they always wanted to do something different. And they've
Lately,
I don't know.
not in
Lately.
the day.
No, they've
Oh,
always
no, back
done.
in the day, like
Yeah,
the Power Glove.
I was just gonna say
High
that.
five.
Oh, I
Super
forgot
Scope,
about that.
the Super Scope.
The
all that
Super
stuff.
Scope was what like scared me away from. I got Super Nintendo. with
running
Super
pad.
Scope, and it was hard.
Yeah, the running
For
pad,
track
yeah,
and
yeah.
field.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll never
all right,
forget that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
They've always been trying to do something different, and yeah, they faltered with the Wii U, but I feel like they've definitely revived themselves with this console. Especially bringing such great indie titles like Butcher's on there now.
Butcher's great.
Just think
Blaster
if they had
Master,
enough to
Shovel
actually
Knight.
meet demand, how much they could sell.
They are meeting demand now, I believe, because
Okay.
I see them in stores all the time now.
Oh, okay.
Shovel Knight was a lot of people's game of the year a year or two back.
Yeah.
Speaking of game of the years,
With that,
Yeah. Well, my game, I guess I'll start with myself.
go for it.
Or would you like to start, Justin?
No, go for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
We have all played this game. We have all purchased this game. We've been waiting for this game for a very long time.
Is this your runner-up?
This is definitely my runner-up, but it was hard. It was a really hard decision
It
because
was tough. It was tough this year.
I had so much fun with this game and immediately got invested and could not put it down. So that game is Cuphead.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft exclusive, developed and published by Studio MDHR, inspired by the works of 1930s cartoonists such as Max Fleischer Studios. I think he was in competition with Disney at the time.
Yeah, it's like
I
that
believe.
Steamboat Willie kind of early Warner Brothers,
Early 1930s.
Roger Rabbit kind of.
And the cool thing about that game is it got a lot of support. There was a lot of skepticism around it because it got a release date push back, and
Again and
Dude,
again.
on
I
and
remember
so
hearing
forth.
that for 2 years at least.
but it just looks so unique and has such a colorful and scary and very flavorful style to it. I don't know.
It's all hand drawn, correct?
Yep.
All of it hand drawn in 60 frames per second.
3-person studio.
1080p.
They did their own animation and their own sound.
No wonder it took years.
Yeah.
So I believe after 2 weeks, the game went platinum, meaning it already sold 2 million copies. But it's only a $20 game. So what is?
Yeah, it's an amazing game. If it wasn't so hard.
Yeah, I feel like we need to talk about how difficult it is.
If it
You're making it sound like it's.
no, but being hard meaning that it sections off a section of gamers. Like I can't recommend it to my niece.
It's not
Like,
for
she'll never make
casuals.
it. Right, it's not a casual.
Well, she can
game.
play it on simple.
Yes,
she just
but you
couldn't
can't
fight
get-
the devil.
Right, you can't play some of the parts of the game. My point is, if it wasn't for that, that would have been one of my games of the year.
Well,
For sure.
the synopsis is Cuphead and Mugman pretty much go to a casino. They're shooting dice and they're winning, and the devil's the owner of the casino, and it's kind of like the Charlie Daniels song.
That went down Georgia.
He was looking for soul to steal. Devil came up and said, "Next roll, if you win, you can have my whole casino." That's what
Well, I don't know. It just struck me funny. I like it.
it struck me funny.
Struck me funny.
I just heard Devil went down to Georgia, and my mind went immediately to Primus, which
Oh, I
immediately
know.
went to South Park for some reason in my brain. That's what.
Thank you for
playing.
paying attention.
Yeah, sorry. I was.
Anyways, back to
drifting
the
there.
Your
story.
segue is early too, by the way.
Cuphead and Mugman roll a pair of snake eyes, and Devil sends them on the contracts, and those are all the bosses that you have to fight. And if you have to claim all the contracts for all the bosses before you can actually go and fight the end boss, which is the devil. So,
I'm about
but it's
2
rated
hours
E.
into it. So.
It's rated E.
Yeah, yeah,
well,
for
it's
sure.
like little laser bullet things.
I know, but those games are scary as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that type of animation and that just
It's eerie,
overall
creepy.
Yeah.
I think it would have been for us. I don't think this generation is scared by much anymore.
It reminded me of
guess.
like back when you
It's like
had
a
like
demented Candyland. Sorry
So-
to speak over you.
replayability nowadays is like, oh, you can beat a game and try it again. Like replayability back in the day is like you need to like replay this level enough until you memorize it and beat it.
Yep.
Like, Genesis.
That's
and
definitely how
SNES.
this is. There's patterns
That's
to
exactly how
everything.
this is.
It's a dance. It's a
Yeah.
fine-tuned dance that you have to just learn the patterns to, and then once you do, you're fine.
It's like you said back with SXX in the day, where if you make a mistake within the first 30 seconds, just
Just start over
it.
because you
Just-
know you're
just-
not going to make it.
Just don't waste.
I
your
had to do
time.
that so many times.
unless you're trying to figure out the pattern.
Yeah, it's
very-
like I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say it's a brilliant game. It really is. And like to think of all the sound effects were in house. Like when the guy shooting, when Cuphead's shooting, is the guy making sounds with his mouth. Like I saw them
the
recording it. No, just how it has that
Yeah.
weird shot. That's so cool to me. And that small art house and watching the guys animate, and they're actually using like the old
Talk about a
techniques
grind,
to
man.
animate and stuff. It's amazing.
I think it took them 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, because it was announced 3 years ago.
Well, and it was initially supposed to just be like boss battles, which is
Only
kind of
boss
where it
battles, yeah.
shines. But then they added the run and gun and like the flying levels and all the different map and open world kind of. And
I listened to an interview of one of the main artists on the project, and she said I think it was like a 13-man studio. Oh, yeah.
Justin's making hand motions in the
Yeah,
background.
we got
distracting
distracted. I thought he was going to lift off. Anyways, I had a lot of fun with this game. It took me over 671 tries. That's how many times I died. And it took me
it shows
23
you.
hours and 45 minutes to complete.
That's crazy.
And for some reason, I'd be online with somebody and they're playing it. And they're like, oh, I'm on this boss. And I'm like playing something else. And it's like forced me to like, I kind of want to experience what pain you're going through. Maybe I'm masochistic on myself.
Yeah.
Because like Matt was playing it. And he's like, I'm on this robot or whatever. He's like, this guy's full.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt just screaming into the headset when he's.
Dude, you're good at it too, man. I can't proceed
it's-
anymore in the game without your help.
No, I think it's, I don't know. It's somewhat hand-eye coordination. It's lucky too. It's all random RNG or whatever. Because
very
it's
much.
never
Yeah.
the same.
True.
Like I remember that genie boss. He throws those cats, and then other times he'll throw
The
swords.
Yeah,
and
the
then,
swords are way better.
I know.
Way better. Way easier.
Yeah, there's
The thing about that game, no matter how hard it is, no matter how mad I got playing it, when somebody mentions it, it makes me want to play it again.
I know,
It
I'm
makes
thinking
me
about
wanna
that
go
same
back
thing
to it.
right
yeah.
now.
And I'm on World 2 right now. Or
Who's
something
your
like
favorite
that.
boss so far that you've seen? Justin's only made it to World 2 with the Candy Princess, the genie, and
Princess is calling her life.
Whatever
she's pretty
I've
mean.
called her other things when I'm playing that.
I like that aerial battle with that Betty Boop lady who like turned into the blimp and,
Oh, yeah.
And the
fighter
ball
plane. And
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
she was pretty cool.
Me personally, I love that first slime guy, the blue. I like that guy. I just like the mechanic of it. It's cool. Ducking and everything else. I like it. Or the slot machine, the frog slot machine one. That was pretty good too.
Yeah, both those.
There's
are
some ones
both
later
tough.
game
Yeah.
where I said to myself, and I was texting you guys too as I was going through this battle. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna beat this. Like, I just gotten to a point where I'm like, hey, well, this is insane. I'm gonna keep trying this because I know in my heart of hearts I can do this. But at the same time, it's like I just want to quit.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I usually put it down before I get to that. Throw my controller across the room.
I never
stage.
do that. That's one thing. I never screamed in this game. It was all just like bottled down deep and just
where you
silent.
get
Just
the cracking of your controller just under the pressure of your hands.
Yeah.
That's a good one though.
If somebody hears me like doing that, it's just a game.
Yeah.
You're like, shut up, mom.
Yeah. Quiet, I'm busy. All right, Justin, runner up for you.
My runner-up is an indie title, Sonic Mania.
Yes. Yes.
I really enjoyed that, and kind of
What-
just like Cuphead, it was really
What a
small
callback.
developed.
What a callback to Sonic. Like, thank you. This is what the true Sonic fans have been waiting for this whole time.
It only took me
Exactly.
20
Sorry, I
years.
got a little political there.
That's true.
Just
guess.
with my rhythms. Go ahead. Sonic Mania.
Yeah,
I can't get. I
just
don't.
took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what it. I mean, it feels like they're aiming towards like a Genesis, Sega CD, Sega Saturn feel. I remember reading, and that's exactly
definitely.
what it felt like.
I've watched you play it. I haven't played it myself, but I watched play it, and it brought me back right away.
Well, you're playing on an Xbox.
I would imagine playing it on Switch is pretty.
It's nice.
it feels
handheld.
like
It's
playing a
perfect.
Game Gear.
I feel like I'm
That's
playing
what I
a
was just gonna say.
giant Game Gear.
Yeah.
I can't.
On a smaller screen, it'd be tight. I think.
Well, that's how. I think the Game Gear was like 3x3.
Dude, I had a Game Gear and I bought it because why? Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Red Blood.
That's right. On a Game Gear.
I
on a
thought you were gonna
handheld.
say Sonic because that's the first game I saw and I was blown away.
Yeah, Sonic was one of the first Sega games I ever saw.
Yeah, 2. I think I remember was my first. Maybe it was 1.
I'm talking on Game Gear.
Oh, Game Gear.
Did you?
I don't
beat-
have a Game Gear ever.
Did
Huh?
you beat Sonic?
No, it's pretty long. I've been grinding away. I'm on like maybe World 6 or 7.
Is there
it's cool
bosses and stuff?
Because like I like it because there's like mixtures of redesigned and like expanded old levels. Like they add different layers and lengths to them, and then there's like new ones that really have that same feel and enemy style. And yeah, there's boss battles. They're tough.
Yeah, some of them are quite annoying because there's a certain mechanic that you have to like kind of learn. I guess with any boss battle, you have to learn the tricks to it. But I don't know. I'm a relatively seasoned Sonic player. I'm not the best at it, but
it
some of
helps
them
to grow up with them. Absolutely.
Yeah,
to
but
know.
I died quite a bit.
It's
on
no
some of
Cuphead, though.
Yeah, it's no cup. Well, some portions are pretty hard.
And they still have the bonus levels, like they have the orb where you go around
I
and collect.
cannot figure. I can do that one. I can't figure out the one where you're chasing the robot. Like I don't. Am I
The
supposed to
UFO?
jump? Yeah. Am I supposed to jump?
Collecting the rings gives you more time, and then collecting the blue orbs
Oh.
speeds you up.
I've
And you
only
gotta-
made it to those special worlds like maybe once.
And that's how you get the emeralds now, is by catching the UFO.
And then what happens if you get all the emeralds? Is you get to play as Mario? Because that'd be hilarious.
No,
I mean,
that's
now
just,
they're
that's
best
just like the good
friends.
ending. You can beat the game without getting the emeralds.
If
but-
they
They're only best friends because Sega was going broke.
Exactly. Like, and it's like,
well, and they didn't even make it. It was like some dude who was making like
He made
Sega Sonic fan games and like ROM emulators of old Sonic games, and they're like he came to like their lead Sonic guy and was like, "Hey, I got this.
What about
What do you think?" And they just kind of took it and ran with it.
the Sega or the Sonic and Mario Olympics? What was up with that? That seems like a game that would come out
What
in
was that
alternate
on?
reality. Oh, I think it was on like 3DS and Wii U, and
I seem to remember that.
yeah, that was
Sounds
crazy.
like garbage.
It's
Seems
probably really
rather
fun.
lopsided to me though, because
I mean, if I could find it for $10 and invite some buddies over and play a terrible game, I mean, I'm sure it's not that bad. It's not like Nagano Winter Olympics '98 on N64.
I don't know the ski
Which that
jumping
game is
pretty-
boss.
Some of those old Winter Olympic games were super, but I know Austin and his.
That's like the best one in
yeah,
my opinion.
The Littlehammer one.
I
is
believe
really
it's
good, Nagano.
'98.
Yeah.
Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but
I like the ski jump. You do the
Yeah.
oh
massive
yeah,
ski
the
jump
ski
and-
vault.
Mhm.
So yeah, I like Sonic. It was good. It was nostalgia.
How did we get to toboggans?
You
Yeah, I guess it is my fault.
It definitely made me feel like a kid.
Well,
Like I could smell like dinner being made in the background and like
macaroni and cheese.
waiting for my friend's mom to be like, "Come
Oh,
on up."
meatloaf!
Just like it was
it,
music.
it did bring me back. I heard the music first, and I was like, "Oh,
perfect.
that's Sonic."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake.
All right, my runner-up this year, right out of the box, January 24th this year, was Resident Evil 7. I've been a huge fan of the Resident Evil franchise until after
That's a good pick.
after 4, it kind of started going downhill, and this was kind of a bring them back. The first thing I heard about this game was in first person. I'm like, and then I heard
Yeah.
there was very little shooting in it, and I'm like, But I'll
Well,
tell you,
that's fine because that's kind of what took away from 4 and 5 and 6. It was more actiony.
right?
and-
But even in the
Well,
original,
especially 6. Sorry to talk over
6
you.
was horrible. 5 was actually, I think, was worse. I didn't like 5 nearly as much as 6, but they were both terrible. And then you start talking Umbrella Corp, and you start talking about all this other garbage
all
they
the
started bringing
spin-off
out.
ones. Yeah.
I should have listened to Fate when I pre-ordered Resident Evil 6 from Best Buy, and I showed up the night it came out, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't know what happened. We don't have your game."
Oh, I remember you saying that.
And I'm like, I should have taken that as a sign.
Yeah.
I've had that. We're like, well, should I listen to this or no? Let's go to 3 different stores and find it.
No, I waited.
I was excited
Oh.
for 6. I was excited for 6 because it was, but anyway. Resident
7.
Evil 7, it was developed by Capcom, published by Capcom.
Yes.
Basically, you follow a guy, Ethan Winters. You follow him. He gets a message from his girlfriend or his wife, who was was missing but presumed dead for like the last 3 years. You go to Louisiana, middle of the bayou.
Super creepy.
Yeah,
Super,
like deep
super creepy.
south.
And
And
deal
like
with the-
middle of nowhere.
Deal with the Baker family. At first, it was a great game. I hadn't had tension like that in a video game in a long time. I haven't had resource management like that in a long time. I haven't felt like I was overmatched at every section of the game in a long time. And graphically, it looked great. Story was good. It brought back, towards the end of the game, it brought back the old Resident Evil tropes, so you know it's still there.
You got triggered in the fields.
Yep.
And, yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It was a great game. The visuals of it are stunning to me. It's the griminess of it, just the fogginess and the dirtiness. The house that you're in when you
It's
start
gritty.
out. Oh,
It's super gritty.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
that whole Baker family and the Baker family house, it was
Texas Chainsaw.
exactly.
It was Texas Chainsaw meets Outlast, I'd have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you really had to watch your ammo.
I
And what was
can
up with the grandma?
Yeah, just sitting in the wheelchair, just always you come around the
it's
corner,
like,
she's just there.
There's stairs. It's like, how did you get down here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can
what?
still remember the layout of that house too, just going over it so much. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm running through this house and I'm just not dead.
Right. And I played through and beat that game 5 times, no less than 5 times,
Yeah.
because it's so
Really?
fun to play.
It's really good. And
Because
the
once you
graphics
get
are
through
great.
it the first time, you're not terrified anymore. So you can actually pay attention to more stuff. So I really, really love this.
I
game.
know those like molded or whatever.
Yeah.
Most people aren't afraid of them. They creep me out because they come out of nothing.
See, I was relieved when they showed up. When
Same.
the Baker
Why?
family stopped and that started, I can deal with that because it doesn't seem so real.
Yeah.
You're talking about crazy possessed people in the first hand, and then you go to, quote unquote, and then you go to the sludge monsters or whatever, the molted or whatever they're called.
It's more grounded in reality. I know what Jake's
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yep. So that's my runner up, man. I love this game. I think you should play it. If you had any love for Resident Evil at all, you should definitely give it
Or
a
any
shot.
survival horror.
Yeah. If you like
Any
Outlast,
horror.
if you like those kind of things,
Silent Hill.
add a pistol. That's basically, you're going to have a lot of fun. And it's long, too. I mean, it took me, 15, 16 hours
Yeah.
probably the first time.
I got to the very end and I ran out of time for my rental because I just kind of binged on it. So
It's a game you can definitely binge.
I
though.
haven't
You could.
technically beat it, but I got real close to beating it, and I still want to just to see what happens. Or I guess I could go be disingenuous and just go on YouTube and Resident Evil 7 ending. But when
It had a pretty good ending. It was easy-ish, I remember.
if I could get a
playability.
VR headset for like $200 or $300 for a full package with Resident Evil 7, I would love to go through
Yeah,
that
it's made.
and re-experience
It was made for consoles and to be fully playable in VR.
That'd be frightening, man.
Well,
I couldn't handle that.
if I
I'd
got
have to
that,
shower after.
And how do they handle the movement? That's what I don't understand.
your controller.
That would make you so sick, though. Always looking around, like just that frantic
shoot.
looking
That's how
around.
you can get
That's
phased
how you
out,
shoot.
Jake.
That's how you shoot, is wherever you point.
Yeah, you're looking with your pointer, yeah.
That's where you shoot. So I guess it's easier to get headshots.
That's what I heard. I heard it's very good, like the combat in it, but just the
The only
panic
thing
part of it. I don't
the
know.
only thing frightening is like right at the beginning when she comes up the stairs.
That was terrifying.
His
I was
wife-
walking down the
What?
stairs like, oh God, here we go. And then I saw the first hand. I'm like, yep, this is where,
Yeah.
And I was scared.
There's a lot of jump
I'm an
scares and
adult
just tension scares.
male, and I
Oh.
was freaking terrified. It's such a good game though. It's way
And
worth your time.
It was odd that it came out in January though.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it just seems like they should have pushed it for
Well, they got
a
it out of
fall
the gate.
release.
They were one of the first. They were the first big game of this year. They wanted to be out of the gate
Yeah,
first.
that is
And
true.
Now they have the DLC coming out. It's where you play as Chris Redfield too. I don't have a date for that, but it's coming soon. I think it's this month.
Oh, really?
It might even be next.
'Cause I
month.
heard about
Justin
that
can
other
look it up,
DLC
probably.
where you're like trying to hide from the mom or
Yes,
something.
I forgot completely about that. So
Yeah.
you're in a room in a bed being held by these Baker people, and she comes in to check on you,
Periodically.
Yeah, and you have to get up and look for clues in this room how to get out of this room. But if there's certain time between the time she leaves, the time she comes back, and if you haven't found it yet, you have to put everything back that you had already picked up, put it all back the way it was, and get back in bed before she shows up, or you die and it's over.
I know, it's so intense.
It's incredible.
If you can play that, you can play Portal.
Yeah. Well, I've seen people literally get out of that room in 5 minutes before she even comes back the first time because they know
Really?
where everything is. But when you're first doing it, you're lost.
It's pretty much like you got to look it up if
Yeah.
you actually
I think it was
wanna
called The
survive.
Room. I
Oh,
believe
it's
it was called The Room. Yeah.
Your DLC is due out in December 12th.
What's it called?
Not a hero.
That's what it is. Yep. And it's more shooting.
When you
It's-
said your DLC, I thought you were referring to your favorite game, the Destiny DLC coming out in December.
Curse of
I was
Osiris.
just like, I can't believe that you just brought that up.
Moving on.
Well, I made
to
him
the
watch
next
the.
game.
I made him watch the trailer last night. So
Justin doesn't like Destiny. It's okay. It's alright. Sometimes we just don't like things that are decent.
Is that your game of the year?
Wow. It should be Jake's game of the year.
no,
You don't think so?
no. Nope.
We're doing it. We're doing the one thing Justin doesn't want. Talk
If
about
this
Destiny.
if this game
It's okay. We have time to spare.
if Destiny came out this Destiny 2 came out last year before Destiny 1 even showed up. If this was the first out of the gate for them, it would have been game of the year in my mind last year. But already having played thousands of hours of Destiny and gotten into Destiny 2, there's so much stuff stripped out of it. It's really infuriating. But we're not here to talk about Destiny because Justin will get irritated, and so will I when I start talking about the.
It wasn't bad though. It was fun.
No, it's great.
We had fun. We played the campaign together.
It's great, but it's not a huge improvement. It's even lacking in stuff that was added in the first one. But anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent because I could go off on Destiny for an hour, at least.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, I could. I could literally talk about it for an hour.
Never.
I think I probably have.
Debatable.
Too. That's probably why Justin hates
Debatable.
it. So,
My game.
game of the year.
Game of the year.
Here, wait.
Yeah.
That's probably super annoying. We apologize. Of course, talking about Nintendo fanboy. I know.
Can we go back and talk about Destiny instead?
Sure.
March 3rd, 2017. Zelda, The Breath of the Wild. Of course, I'd pick that one.
This is all on you, man, because I have not played this.
I haven't played it, but I'll admit it looks pretty good, and it seems like it gives you a lot of hours of gameplay.
It is the 19th installment in the Legend of Zelda series, developed by Nintendo, and was released on Switch worldwide. Blah, blah, blah.
And the Wii U.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Wii U. Link is suddenly awakened from 100 years of sleep in the Shrine of Resurrection on the Great Plateau, and guided by a mysterious female voice, the princess, to the ruins of Hyrule. That's pretty much, you wake up. You played that first section, Jake.
Yeah, I did. I played a half hour.
Yeah.
Probably. I just don't have a Switch, so if I had one, I probably would play the hell out of it. And I've even asked my sister to borrow me my niece's Wii U so that I can buy it
it's
for
still
them.
worth it. Definitely.
Yeah.
I know you guys don't have much to say on it because I'm sitting alone here as a Nintendo fanboy.
Sell me on it.
There's other
Anywhere you
people out
look,
there.
you can go. And it all just depends on how much endurance you have to actually climb, traverse. I mean, there's points where I've looked at a mountain, it's just like, wow, that's really up there. I wonder if I can get up there, and go up there, and either I find a Korok seed, which those give you extra item slots, I believe, if you collect a lot of them. It's not really a spoiler. It's actually, yeah. But, God, there's just so much to say about this game. It's not a traditional game. It totally reinvented the series and just shied away from actual dedicated dungeons to having, I think there's 175 shrines.
Is that what the dungeons are called now?
Yeah. Well, you have, I don't want to spoil it too much. You have 4 main dungeons, a final boss, and then I think you have 175 shrines that all have, some have mini quests, some have just to get inside. Like sometimes there's going to be thorns or something around it, and then you have to be like, okay, well, how do I get in there? I pull out my bow and it has fire, or like a fire arrow, or I light it on fire and then I shoot the thorns. Guess what? It goes up in flames.
That's what I heard a lot about this game is people said if you can think of doing it, you can do it.
Yes, it's very unconventional. Like all the way to beat the shrines. Like there was one shrine where it was kind of one of the weaker ones I played, but at the same time I liked it because of how I solved it. There was a ball that dropped out, and it came to this platform that was a maze, and then you had to use the motion controls and then guide the ball around the maze to have it trigger. Mm-hmm. I turned the whole maze upside down, let the ball roll, and then roll it to the other side where it needed to be.
So it was literally like a 3D space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I don't understand, because I can set my Switch any which way, and it still is on center. That's one thing that blows my mind. I don't understand. And the rumble that's on the Joy-Cons, oh my gosh.
Yeah, people talk about it.
I was giggling just because of how sensitive, like, because I never played 1-2 Switch, and that's really supposed to showcase what the Joy-Cons can do. I was just like, I'm not spending $50 for your tech demo. Like,
yeah,
seriously.
basically, right?
Like,
right.
no. Like, that's pretty much like, hey, give us more money for R&G, or research R&D, I mean. So, but I have beat all the main, I guess, dungeons, and I could go to the final, but I'm kind of hesitant because
want it to
there's
end.
not only that, but there's secrets that I hear in that game that I don't necessarily want to spoil, but I find if they are true, I'm all about continuing playing that game as long as I possibly can, and yes, just drawing it out.
How many hours do you think you have in it?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, I would have to say at least 200.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least. Like, because I played it on planes. I played it so much when it first came out. And one weird thing is I'm not really like a handheld type of guy. Like, I have a 3DS and stuff like that. I don't play it all the time. I'd rather be on a big screen. But for that game alone, it ran better handheld. I don't know why. I don't know if there was a patch that came out, but initially there'd be a lot of like frame rate, like just, you know, like glitching and stuff like that. Like, it just seemed like too much was going on. It bogged down for some reason. And I think it got patched. And one thing that I was kind of disappointed in myself is I never got to play the DLC, the Master Trials. They have a hard mode. They have a hard mode. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even close to beating my first playthrough. I mean, I guess I could and then restart, but it's like I don't know if I can. It's so huge. I don't think I can replay it.
Don't they, part of that DLC was it would track everywhere you've been in the world too?
That's the only part about it that I would like to see how like zigzag and everything else. Yeah. But when I found main mission like quests, like people on the road and stuff like that, it was so organic. Like the first boss I went to fight, it was like, oh, like I talked to somebody random that seemed random, and it led me right into the main quest. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I had some good moments with some enemies. There's like this guy that looks like a centaur, and he has like, he looks like a beast from Beauty and the Beast, kind of. I forgot what the heck the name of the enemy was. But anyways, I'm supposed to get these lightning arrows, and he's standing by it. And I run up, and I got all these good weapons on and a good shield and good armor. And I start slashing him, and all of a sudden he just busts out this lightning arrow, just kills me right there. And I had like full health and everything. I came back, and he was way far out in the distance. He did the same thing. He like saw me in the distance, aimed his arrow up, and just sniped me. I'm like, I just feel like a noob right now.
So it's something that you have to be geared up to fight.
The thing is, all your weapons break.
Right.
Over
I heard
time.
that. Even the Master Sword breaks.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's why I still haven't pulled it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a spoiler, though.
No, I mean, whatever.
It's
it's
a
It
Zelda.
should be a Master Sword, you know?
That is true. I didn't think there would be. So
Well,
I was
Zelda.
like stoked when I came upon it. The game, the world looks lived in. And, you know, there's debate going up right now between Super Mario Odyssey and Zelda, you know, because they're just so head-to-head, which I don't really want to touch too much on Odyssey right now, but it is comparable. It's a tough choice. Odyssey, as a brief description, it's more bite-sized, and I had, like, more, like, joy, if that makes any sense. It wasn't... I felt like Breath of the Wild was like an E-rated Dark Souls, which I hate to say because everybody's comparing Dark Souls to everything. But it was because your weapon breaks, you're trying to survive, you know, you're picking up items, you're having to craft things and learn recipes.
Cook food and stuff.
Yeah, and then that's basically where I make all my money, is collecting things, and I cook it into a stew, and then I'll sell it to somebody. And then it's a suit. I don't know. You would consider that an RPG, wouldn't you?
Oh,
Zelda? Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
The thing is, the world makes the game. It's so open. It's so beautiful. It runs great handheld. God, I don't think anything's going to be this year.
It's on my
like
bucket
nothing
list.
can.
I'll wait till you're completely sick of your Switch, and then I'll borrow it and play it over like a course of a weekend or
On
something.
a tech level, which you're going to get to later, it came out around the same time. The only thing that could really compete with it would be Horizon. Just because if you're talking about, if you want to talk about graphics, two different art styles, but Horizon's bringing the power. For sure. Not that Zelda isn't, but it's just a totally different, more cartoonish.
Are you trying to spoil
style.
my list here? Or?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's just comparable.
No, I know what you're saying. Just the world size. Everybody was comparing the two.
I know, and the dates when it came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to get into it, man. It does look good.
People-
It's just something I haven't. Nintendo was always something that I haven't had to go out and get. I don't know. I think it's just because I just don't own the system.
A lot of people were scared when Zelda first came out because it was going on a Switch, a brand new console, and everybody was really skeptical. I was one of the idiots out there at 19 degrees outside of a Best Buy with
I
a
remember
blanket.
talking with you on the phone while you were out there.
Just because I was so bored.
Yeah.
But I had to get it. And at first I said I wasn't going to, and I just kept seeing these videos, and it looked so different. And I was like, what if the Switch actually works? This would be amazing. And it is amazing. And it turned out to be exactly what I wanted to be and more. There's so many little funny touches and humor and, I don't know, callbacks to the old game where it gave me like the feels, like from Ocarina of Time and things like that. That's not really spoiler because it's just things that you discover out in the world, like the Temple of Time. Justin.
Super excited. Super excited.
That's good. I feel like it's good that we talk about Zelda because it will transition perfectly into what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, I'll just get mine out of the way then right away. My number one game of the year, in my opinion, another one that came out right out of the box this year. It was published by Guerrilla Games, Sony Interactive, February of 2017, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, and mine was March 3rd.
Yep.
So,
Well, and my Resident Evil was January, so they're like the two biggest games right away this year. And I did play Horizon, and it was phenomenal.
I saw Justin was playing it, right, Justin?
I played a little bit of it with you.
Yeah, when you brought it over.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really like that open world kind of action adventure.
most beautiful game world I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in my
Okay,
time.
is it better than Assassin's Creed? No, not as far as gameplay, but just as far as graphics. That's a close call, especially with the Xbox One coming out.
Well, but on the I've seen Assassin's Creed on the X, and it's right up there. But Horizon being on a stock console, being a PS4, and Xbox One being stock consoles, it looks better than Assassin's. It plays better. It
was designed for
better.
PlayStation 4.
Right. Well, it was a exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Right. But I'm just saying, Guerrilla Games put in their time, and that world is incredible. It's like a post-apocalyptic world where the people have regressed. It's like 1,000 years in the future. People have regressed back to like Stone Age times, but they still have tech from the old ones, they call it.
Yeah.
Which would be us, I would assume.
Yeah.
The
It's
whole
a cool premise.
The whole world is wandered by these machines, they call them, but they're basically robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're huge dinosaurs.
Huge.
And they're like traversable. You can climb them and
You can
stuff,
climb.
right?
You can climb certain ones of them. Certain ones have weak points to shoot off armor, so you can get to the batteries that they're running them to pop those out, so you can use them for other things.
Yeah, they're like enemies and
Yeah, the
interactors. And,
stealth
it's pretty
mechanics
cool
in
stuff.
it are amazing. And the grass, you got these tall grasses and stuff, and you're just crawling around watching these herds of these robot dinosaurs and they'd be fighting each other off in the distance. I would tell Justin a bunch of times. I just sat there and watched 20 minutes of two like Tyrannosaurus Rexes fighting each other with a bunch of other little ones, and they were doing it on their own.
How much do you think it is? Like if I went to GameStop and picked it up,
$30.
like it would probably that's a good game to ask for like a Christmas.
Oh
gift
yeah, and it's worth
for
$60.
anybody.
If you can only find it, it's worth it.
Yeah,
I think it was
how many
80
hours you put into it?
I
you
think I
said?
put in 80 plus. Just
And you lost
messing
your
around.
save data.
And
man.
I was to 99% of the game. I looked on my save file. It said 99%. I had one more thing to go get. I went and got that thing. It went and saved and corrupted my file and erased everything. And it killed it for me. I never
Achievement
wanted to play
unlocked.
it again. It never even said it. I didn't even get the satisfaction of it. I know I got 100% in the game, but it didn't happen.
Prove it.
Thanks, Sony. I can't prove it. Thank you. But the game, the story, the world, everything about it is great. If you have a PlayStation, it's a must play.
I hear that she looks creepy as a kid.
They all look creepy.
What's
Yes.
her name
That's-
again?
I remember
Alloy.
that.
Aloy.
Yeah.
Aloy.
Aloy.
Yeah. Aloy.
and something like that. But I'll tell you, all the facial animations in this game are whacked. They look really strange. But I think the more realistic they're
like
trying to.
As bad as Mass Effect?
No, and not as bad as Friday the 13th either.
Yeah.
But
oh wow.
Oh, you
Amen to
spoiled my
that.
game of the year.
Yeah, but the story is great. You go into, you find these random vaults, they call them. They're like tombs, but they're all mechanized and futuristic. They're amazing. It's almost like the Mass Effect tombs, Justin. If you remember that.
Yes.
It's the
I do
same kind of
remember
thing.
those.
And
Mass Effect tunes.
they had like certain crypts,
almost-
something like that.
It's like action puzzle kind of.
Yeah, well, in Horizon, the way it works, you go into this quote unquote tomb, and you get to the end boss, which is one of the main big dinosaurs in that part of the world. And once you beat it in there, you get technology to like understand how to beat them out in the real world, so it makes it easier. It's like part of a leveling up thing, but it is incredibly amazing. You set traps for things. You can go about the combat in your own way. It's almost like Metal Gear, where you can just see a spot and you can figure out how to get there.
So there's a lot of like upgrades and unlockables.
Tons.
The
The
foliage and
skill trees.
everything is reminiscent of Turok in ways.
Yeah.
I mean, the bow and arrow.
Yeah,
Obviously
and
iconic.
you basically use a bow and arrow, but it's got tech on it. So you have like shock arrows, and you have explosive arrows, and you
Yeah,
have
I
trap
remember those.
arrows. You have you find technology out throughout the world, and all the secrets in the game are epic when you're going on them. When you're up in the mountains and stuff, and you're fighting giant robot birds on like a snow-swept cliff, and it's
It's
incredible.
an easy sell kind of.
It hands down the most fun and the most awe I've had in a game this year. Period. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Can I say one thing? I heard people that played Breath of the Wild before they played Horizon got it ruined. Like Horizon, they didn't like it because
Well, I can see that. I mean,
no,
it's just
be on the basis that they couldn't climb anything.
oh, well, you can, but there's it's
when
parts, yeah.
once you're playing Breath of the Wild. Like, you just get so used to it, and then you go out to another game, and it's like you're jumping on the wall. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but Horizon's not about
forgot.
that. Horizon's about the combat. Like, you can take a running leap off like a rock ledge and go into slow motion, shooting your bow and arrow, like aiming in slow motion at the part of the robot that you're trying to take down.
It sounds
epic.
I'd way
stupendous.
rather
It is.
do that than climb a mountain.
Just to say I'm on top of it.
Well, no, like I found like swords and like gems and
That
special
break
things.
after 5 hits. That's awesome.
No,
Cool.
they're more
I
durable.
bet
Like,
you could do cooler things with those swords.
there's
in
buffs
Horizon.
on certain weapons, like you have durability up and
I
like
know.
not okay. You can't get me going on that because I'll just
Yeah, we already did like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
other than
I
take a
just
breath for, like,
rambled
20
and I
bars
probably
here.
it doesn't matter. Justin, game of the year.
Wait a
bud.
second. I'm not done talking about Horizon.
Okay.
The side quests in it are great. All the side characters are great. You have a hunting lodge where you actually get like you go in and get missions to go out and hunt specific animals, and then you get specific gear and specific weapons for it and things like that. But
Isn't there a DLC coming out?
Oh yeah, Frozen Wilds. It's coming out on let's see. Well, it says the 7th. I'm assuming November 7th. So in a couple days.
Oh wow, yeah.
So, and it's like a whole
wow,
new part of the world. It's all snow.
Oh, wow.
New creatures, new weapons, new skins, all that sort of stuff. And they've been working on it for like it's been in like 7 months. So it's going to be big. But so that's it. That's my game of the year. Justin, I think you're next.
Last game.
Yeah, last game.
My game of the year is one that I just finished. South Park, The Fractured But Whole.
Yeah.
Great, one of the greatest names I've ever heard in my life.
I had to double like check that when I first started. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
The Fractured Butthole. Oh, Butthole. And it's like
BUTWHOLE.
Yeah.
and it's because what the premise is there's two different. It's like the other one, Stick of Truth, where it's role playing, almost like XCOM, where there's a grid set up, and you got certain move bases that can take up certain grid styles.
Yeah, what's
and do
that?
different-
Where you make a move and then the enemy makes a move.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Well, it's a tactical RPG.
But this one's superheroes, and it's two feuding franchises of superheroes that want to make franchise money.
Like making light
then
of
they,
Infinity War and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly, and Civil War and all that stuff.
Sure.
And they uncover this big old conspiracy. But yeah, so Fractured But Whole is kind of, it's like, oh, I get it. 'Cause there's two different, I guess it was originally supposed to be called The Butthole of Time, but like retailers and the marketing teams, like, we aren't going to put butthole.
Fractured Butthole is so much better.
So they're like, okay, well, how can we do that? And that's what they came up with.
Yeah, those guys they keep coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
How long have they been doing this?
Trey Parker and Matt Stone did the whole thing with Ubisoft and wrote it all. They made a script that was, what was it, 360 pages
That's crazy.
for a script for a video game.
And they won't release stuff unless it's perfect to them.
Yeah. Well, I
remember
mean,
they-
it was one of those ones where you didn't think it was coming out. People were like, that's not coming out.
Delay. Well, the first one was
South Park-
delayed.
South Park has 21 seasons.
That's crazy.
Currently.
So 21
Yeah, dude, I
years
was
these
in
guys.
sixth grade
and
when
they're
that
still,
started.
They still come up with relevant jokes and stuff.
Oh, and everything.
kidding.
I mean, it's. I like the game because it brings up things from seasons like 5-10 years ago. You're like, oh, I forgot about that. Like
The
crab
movie.
people. I haven't thought about crab people and like crab people. I'm like, oh,
Spoilers.
dude. Yeah, it's good. It's chock full of. They spent a lot of time writing material for that.
Are the Canadians in it?
They are. It's funny because in the other one, the end of the game is you can go to Canada and it's all like 8-bit, you know. This one, you can. There's a path to Canada, and as you approach it, you hear like little 8-bit music getting louder and louder. But when you get up to the top of the Canadian road, there's this huge ass wall. And it just says Canadian wall, and there's a Canadian sitting up there. Oh, hey, buddy, you want to come into Canada? No, I can't.
It's super nice over here.
And I kept waiting to be like, okay, when can I go over the wall? And nope, you never get to.
Sorry, I can't do that, guy.
Hey, there's a guy here who wants to come over, buddy. Do you think we should let him in? Hell no.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was laughing a lot at that game.
That's
Well-
definitely a niche show. I mean,
I'll tell you one thing. For Justin to actually have played through and finished an entire game, it means it's something.
I only did about 4 or 5 this year.
Yeah, you did.
Probably.
You did. Mass Effect was the first one I can remember.
Yeah, I finished Max Payne finally from last year.
Max
2
Payne-
years ago.
Max Payne was like 5 years old. What are you talking about? And then, like, you never finished Batman. You never finished, like, things like that is just incredible. So if he actually plays and finishes a game, that's something. So it makes me want to play it because I didn't play Stick of Truth either because I like South Park, but it's not something I'm like.
Well, they give that to you for free when you buy it too. So
right,
you
that's
both
what I
of them.
heard. So
It's got highbrow humor, lowbrow humor. It's
Yeah,
got
I'm
fart
very
jokes
offensive.
and it's got like
I know that.
relevant political
Well,
humor.
depending on who you are.
I've
It's
only,
very
I've only played about 3 hours of it so far, and it's a lot of looting so far.
I
that
saw
I've
Yeah,
seen.
There's
it's
mo-
quick though. Like I've spent a lot of time hitting trash cans and
I saw Morgan Freeman, and that's all I needed to know.
yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
So
I was on YouTube and had some things spoiled for me. I was kind of pissed off about. I won't talk
quit
about
looking
it.
on
but-
YouTube.
I
about
can't
ads.
help it because I watch like certain videos and video channels, and it just so happened like suggestions, and it's like,
That's
no, I don't
that's
want to see that.
A good subject for another time. Like IGN, they show you a little trailer of the game that's coming up or something like that, but they show scenes that are pivotal to what the story. When you actually play
Storyline.
through the game, you're like, oh crap, I've seen this already, and it's a whole rant that you can go on about that kind of stuff, trailers and how much they spoil.
How long did it take? How long did it take you to beat the Fractured Butthole?
I haven't checked. I would say
like
probably
roughly.
about 8 hours.
Really? That's it?
I don't know, unless it went by fast. 8-10 hours.
No, that sounds about right.
No,
I think
I heard it was 20. Well,
I feel like I did pretty much everything.
Well, you also
just
played on
crushed
pretty.
it, too.
I gotta find. There's still some tweaking Craggy Owie I gotta go find scattered about the town. But it's awesome, dude. Oh, there's such. Great
I don't want to
stuff.
sing this song. 'cause
Let's
it's so
fighting loud.
yeah.
Well, you also played it on a fairly easier difficulty too, right? You didn't play it on. the
That's
hardest
another
or
thing.
anything.
I was like,
Does that
there's one
really-
more thing I was gonna mention.
Does
What
that
was
really
it?
really matter? I mean, like,
What do you mean? The
well, like,
difficulty? Well,
yeah.
it's absolutely. Well, first of all, that was the first thing that got me laughing in the game is when
Go
you're
ahead
creating your
and
character.
tell everybody what you're talking about.
It's the difficulty meter is whatever skin tone you choose for your
your
individual
character? Yeah.
So I chose mine, which is Minnesotan Norwegian. So super
You didn't
easy.
sound Minnesotan Norwegian there.
Minnesotan Norwegian.
Yeah, and the harder you get, the darker your skin is.
Yeah.
it's a great joke.
But yeah,
But
no,
that's the
it's-
kind of humor that's in this game.
Yes,
like,
it's
just so
very
you know.
relevant and very political, and there's some things that
Not
were
for
like,
the children.
no, please don't buy that for your kid. But I would hope after a 21-year season or show, you would know that.
Yeah, what does he say when you pick the hardest difficulties? Like it doesn't matter in the game, but it affects pretty much everything else in the rest of your life. Like just stuff like that. They don't.
It's not
pull
funny,
any,
but
they don't pull any punches.
they-
It's
No, they
hilarious.
don't.
It's hilarious because they don't pull any punches. They're not afraid of anything. These guys have been around long enough. They don't have to worry about.
Have you
people
watched their
starting,
documentary 6 Days to Air?
No, but I've heard it's amazing.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Because they're
it.
working up till the last second, the 11th hour.
I saw them doing in studio recordings of like the lines and stuff, and I was laughing my ass off. They had his daughter, Trey Parker's daughter, is one of the Canadian, like the kid Canadian. She does that. Like she comes in, he tells her what to say, and she says it in her little 4-year-old language.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, that's right.
Like you suck.
Okay.
He's like he'd say it first, and she repeats it. It's hilarious. So
One quick question, and then we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
Who, out of all the characters in South Park, is your favorite?
Ike. It's always been Ike, and always will be Ike.
Don't kick the baby.
That's what it started, and now he's
Kick
just
the
like an
baby.
angry teenager just out terrorizing people, and he's just a stupid Canadian head, and oh, I love little Ike.
I love the movie too. I love the music.
see, I'm going off old. I haven't watched that show in
the
15 years.
characters.
Chef.
Chef.
Oh,
I love
man,
Chef.
Chef was
Hey there, children.
Isaac Hayes, man, I freaking
Yeah.
love that
stupid
guy.
Scientologist.
Rest in peace.
He ruined it all. He didn't. Oh, he did end up dying. Not before he quit because he was a Scientologist.
Well, he's on a spaceship to Gloryland now.
Yeah,
so.
he's out with the aliens now.
Yeah.
Mine is
I hope he paid enough.
tough because I feel bad for picking Cartman because he's such a piece of but he's
He
so
is.
funny though.
Yeah,
He's
he
pivotal.
is.
He is the show.
He is definitely the show. Man.
I like when
But-
he gets mad, he starts screaming. You can't even hardly understand him because he's just like. "Wah, wah, 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 wah."
But
He's just like that kid from the neighborhood. Just like,
I have to say they nailed the American archetype of Randy Marsh.
yeah.
Where he's playing, they're playing Guitar Hero. He's like, I can play the real thing, and he breaks out a guitar and playing "Carry On My Wayward Son."
I like
He
all the
is just-
parents though too. The teachers are great. I mean, everything about it is the satirical nature of that show is. I mean, my favorite character I ever saw in that was Mecha Streisand.
Oh, yeah. That
It
was
was
my
the greatest
favorite
thing. It was
episode for
Barbara
years.
Streisand as Godzilla.
What about Tally?
Tolly's good. Mr. Hanky is great.
Yes.
I mean, but it depends on your sense of humor. But I think that
it's a very crude.
the
sense
pinnacle
humor.
of that show in my life, when I remember it early, was Mecha Streisand because she got so mad at
Well, and
those
then they
guys.
had the
really?
And it was like a huge
It was
thing.
a big deal.
A big deal.
and then they had the Robert Smith Mothra.
Yeah,
And then they had who was the other one? It was Robert Smithra, and I can't remember.
I can't remember the other ones now.
There's
It's
a
been
bunch
so
of different
long.
like music stars come as
it
the various Godzilla enemies.
they like I said, they pull no punches. They'll make fun of everybody. So
Left, right, up, down.
I'm interested in the game. I'll play it when I see it cheaper. I'd probably get the double pack for $20 someday. But the Stick of Truth was still $30 the last time I saw it, just by itself for the 360 version.
Justin, did you play the first one?
I was like you with Netflix. I had it on not Netflix. I'm sorry, Redbox.
So
I
you
had it
beat
for like 5 days, and I got to the Canada, which is supposedly like the end
Oh,
level.
so you never beat it.
I got that.
Because
Close.
I was gonna ask, what do you compare? Compare which one's better? Obviously, the first one's more turn-based.
Well, the first one came out. You didn't know what to expect either.
No.
Now they have to step
Well,
up
as far
their game.
as like jokes and stuff like that, I mean,
I feel like I
it's
laughed
comparable.
more at the first one, but it's pretty on par.
Yeah.
I'd have to
kinda what
play
I've
them
heard,
again,
too.
but yeah, they're pretty on par.
Before we take our break, I just have to give this quick shout out because I've been playing this game lately, and I have to make everybody aware of this game because I think it's going to get passed up by a lot of people just because it's another Assassin's Creed. But this new Assassin's Creed Origins is amazing.
Really.
It's incredible. I was totally shocked. I just wanted to play a little bit of it I redboxed it just to see what it was like, and I got sucked in. I think I'm 40 hours in.
Are you renting it or did you buy it?
Redbox.
Redbox.
For 3 days. So I'm 40 hours in.
In 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing else to do. So the world in this game is one of the best realized worlds I've ever seen. And the combat, yeah, there's a little bit left to be desired of it and everything else, but it was really close to being on my list because I did finish it before we made our list. The only problem was the little glitchiness and the little, bugs here and there. And the things that took you out of the game, it wasn't as good as Horizon, but I'm just telling you, if you like Assassin's Creed, or if you ever liked Assassin's Creed, try this game out because they really, 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 really nailed it this time. So that's it.
And with that, we might touch on that a little bit later because I'd like to get into it a little deeper with you. However, right now we're going to take a quick break. You guys can stick around, and thank you so much. And yeah, you want to clap on 3? 1,
BRB.
2, 3.
Break.
Live from the Cyber Lunch News Table.
Hey, everybody, all you
Cyberbots.
guys with your noses up in the air thinking you're the best thing in the world.
Jacob, who are you wearing tonight?
Who are you wearing?
Wild.
That's what they say.
Yes, of course. Welcome,
we are.
Welcome back to Cyber Lunch. That was very festive, very nice. Thank you. We're going to kick off with some of our favorite movies of this year. Justin is going to start out, and I'm going to kick it right on over to Justin. So take it away.
All right. So I kind of have a little caveat with mine. So I have caviar. I have a movie that is my movie of the year, as of now.
Well, that's good because that's what we're doing.
I chose it.
Yep, that's a good one.
It's kind of a stretch just because it's a horror, and I know it's not palpable for a lot of people, especially being rated R.
And you guys have seen this. I have not.
I saw it twice in theaters.
But I do want to go see it second.
Never
time.
once with me.
But I really enjoyed it, man. It kind of reminded me of
Hey.
like Stand By Me or kind of like Stranger Things too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
You know the directors.
E.T.
You know the directors that were the guys that directed Stranger Things wanted to do the It movie, but the studio wouldn't let them. So then they went and made Stranger Things. That's why there's such a huge correlation in between the two movies, and plus like a bunch of other horror tropes out there.
Oh yeah,
for Stranger
it follows
Things.
a lot of that kind of horror. Well,
That's
the
why it's
director did a
good.
good job. It was the guy who did Mama, and I liked that. That was creepy for
I
PG-13,
thought
and
Guillermo del Toro did Mama.
he produced it. So
Oh,
he funded it.
because I saw
and
his name on there.
How's Pennywise?
I liked him.
He was real creepy.
I mean, it's tough to follow to Tim Curry, but it's completely different.
Well,
I mean, he looks different. They gave him like kind of more like Renaissance look.
Right.
But I don't know.
I heard his voice and I was like, yeah. But
it's good.
He sells it.
maybe in
He's,
context.
he's a little more approachable, it seems like, in this, which is creepier in an aspect.
The original television adaptation was scary for its time, but if you go back and watch it now,
it's a terrible movie.
It's very dated.
It's not
Well, it had
necessarily-
no budget.
It's just dated. That's a good word.
It's
for it.
dated. It had no budget, and it was on television, so they couldn't do anything.
Rest in peace, John Ritter and Tim Curry.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
I thought Tim Curry's still alive.
I thought he died.
Wow.
If he is alive, he's doing in very poor condition.
Oh, that's sad to
Well,
hear.
I think
Rest
he
in-
might actually be alive, but I don't think he's
Ritter,
doing
then.
well.
That's the most sad of it,
yeah,
too, anyway.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But the new movie was great. I mean, if I saw that movie and I was 6 years old,
Dude, with
Yeah,
the way that opening scene
that
scarred me as a
was-
kid for years, if I would have seen the new one,
It's
I know I
bad.
said this before
It's not
last
bad,
week,
but-
but it's pretty creepy.
We're talking the street and the sewer part.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
sets
saw
the
it. Yeah, I saw
tone.
that.
The George, it's such
You
a
haven't
pivotal
seen the
scene.
whole.
No, I did.
Oh,
There's
how?
somebody YouTube. Somebody posted the whole
Yeah,
entire
it's
thing. It's like
creepy.
4 minutes or something.
Oh yeah,
It's such a great scene, no matter how it's like
iconic
filmed or it's
horror
just,
iconic.
Yeah,
scene.
it sets.
Absolutely.
It's yeah.
Loosely, what's it about?
Well, these kids all live in the town of Derry. I forgot the name of the main antagonist.
Well, I did the
protagonist.
research here.
Oh, you did?
Since it was my movie. So
Go ahead.
Bill Denborough is the main guy.
Thank you.
And the Losers Club's all his friends. It's 7 kids. They live in Derry, Maine, which is
Yeah.
based off Bangor, Maine, which is Stephen King's homeish town.
Homish.
It's set, I think. Gosh, I don't know. Is it set kind of in like the 60s?
No,
70s?
this adaptation's in the 80s.
Or there was the 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
There's the other one that's in the 60s and 80s.
Yep.
Or 60s and 50s. Yeah, this is 80s, that's right. And it's basically just these kids with personal demons and fears, and they find this, like, multi-dimensional supernatural being that takes forms of things that they're afraid of or they're weak to, and
Is it the same fears from the original, or did they change that
they took some liberties. I mean, everybody takes liberties. I mean, between the book and the miniseries and the movie, there's, very few things that are...
It's
this
not
is-
one for one.
too? And this is only the first part of the book, right?
Yeah, they only get... I mean, the whole book is... It comes out every 30 years. They find out it's got a pattern to it. So the first part of the movie is the kids, and they defeat it for the first time. Well, barely. And then now there's going to be a sequel coming out next year in... No, 2 years. September 6, 2019. So...
It's definitely worth a watch, though. I mean,
now
the
the kids are
production,
gonna be grown up in this.
the
yeah.
production quality, the writing, everything was spot on.
The kids are great.
Especially
it's
Bill.
tough with child actors, man.
It
But
is.
These are all really good, and it seemed like they're like friends. Like they probably hung out a lot offset because they just had a really good rapport.
Yeah,
and
and chemistry.
it felt like that Stand By Me kind of like you're just hanging out with the group.
I
You
want-
feel like you're like it's summertime. You're hanging out with kids and stuff. And
I watched an interview with Bill Skarsgård. I forgot on some talk show, and he said
the
that
Pennywise, right?
Yeah, and he's like, well, or they asked him, are the kids scared of you? He's like, yeah, I actually feel bad, but there was a creative decision that the director, I forgot his name, but he didn't want me to be seen by the kids. He wanted a natural reaction.
I like that.
So the children never saw Pennywise until the actual scene. He's like, I'd scare the hell out of them, and I'd feel bad, and I'd go up, are you okay? And he said the kids just were like total adults, like, that was great, you're awesome, you're terrific, you're beautiful.
That was acting, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was pretty funny.
Did you ever see that thing of him on Conan where he did like the
smile?
Pennywise face without the makeup, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
it was weird. I was like,
I know.
"Ah."
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to get sold on him.
He's
but
the
he did
son of
pretty
someone
good.
famous. I know that
Peter
for
Skar-
sure.
or- what's his name?
I can't remember. I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
I
like-
should. Skarsgård.
Right, but what's his first name?
Feige.
Bill.
That's a
Bill?
Bill Skarsgård. Is
Yeah,
his
Bill.
father or him?
Well, we're getting
Bill
into
Who's
is
the weeds
Pennywise?
here.
Who's
Pennywise is Bill Skarsgård.
Okay, Peter Skarsgård, I think, is his father.
You're
Yes.
thinking of Peter Sarsgaard. He's an
That's
actor.
exactly who I'm thinking of.
That's different.
I thought it was Skarsgård.
Okay,
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
this,
Sarsgaard.
this dude is Skarsgård. The other guy is Sarsgaard. He has nothing
He was
to
in
do
Picket
with this.
Fences, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't Sarsgaard in
I
Picket
think
Fences? He was like the dad.
Picket Fences.
Or the
Okay.
the cop that show. Anyway.
Anyway,
Love
I
it.
have some. I was looking up like how it did, and I had here that says it was the highest grossing R-rated horror movie ever,
Wow.
the highest grossing horror movie internationally ever, the second highest grossing horror movie only to Sixth Sense.
You know what's funny about Sixth Sense? I was talking to Jake about that.
Yeah, those kind of
When
comes
we're-
into one of our other subjects, but yeah, we were just talking about that
Literally.
like 2 minutes ago. It was weird.
I was just like,
really?
yeah, I was like, I won't say. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. Is that horror though? Or is that suspense?
No, that's definitely a horror film.
Is it?
That's
Yeah,
horror.
I suppose.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
big
in
time.
terms of categorizing in very loose things.
And you have to also equate the fact that movie tickets cost fucking $20
well,
these
that's
days too.
adjusted
Oh,
in here.
it is adjusted?
It is adjusted. Yeah. It's the second highest grossing R-rated movie ever, only to Deadpool. It's the highest grossing horror movie of 2017, the highest grossing R-rated movie of 2017, and the 9th highest grossing movie of 2017. So it made some money for being a horror movie and being an
Absolutely.
R-rated horror movie.
That's another one of those things that like sometimes you and Daryl go see movies without me. Like, well, Blade
Daryl
Run-
does that by himself.
Right, but Blade Runner was my fault. I was sick when you guys went. But that's kind of thing. Just going off your basis, some movies I just buy. As when they come, like it's going to be one of those movies. I just buy it when it comes out and I'll watch it. And I'll probably
They
maybe
still don't
watch
have a
it
date
twice.
for that. I've been following it. There's nothing
It's
released.
still in the theaters, ain't it? I thought I saw it in
Probably.
the cheapy theaters the other day.
One of the things that I love about going to a movie theater is not only the movie, but the reactions from the crowd also help make a horror movie. Sometimes it
I
can hurt
agree.
it, but sometimes like you can hear people laughing if a part's like it's it's about really tense scene.
Yeah, I'm always like, shut up.
That's why I loved going
I
to
don't like-
Regal. Regal always had a very eclectic audience.
R.I.P. Man. It was a local movie theater and it got bought out by some indoor golf company.
Yeah, we
but-
get another golf dome.
Yeah, the last movie I saw there was a dude open mouth snoring in the middle of Annabelle Creation, and everybody was screaming at him, and it was a very enjoyable experience. I think
Oh,
I
man.
enjoyed
That's
his.
exactly what I'm talking
I
about.
enjoyed his snoring more than I did the movie because I'm sitting there laughing my ass off. And finally, some girl like was huffing and puffing, walked over there. Excuse me, yeah, can you get out of the movie theater if you're sleeping? Thanks. And then she goes and sits back down.
Ugh.
And then 2 minutes later,
Oh, gross. Like the sleep apnea one, too, where it's coming from like the
Yes.
bottom of his throat.
It's probably dying.
so there's like this tense scene on the screen, and all you hear in the background is.
Was Annabelle choking him?
I thought it was part of the movie at first. Like seriously,
That's eerie, man.
I know.
I
Like,
hate,
where's
I
that coming
hate
from?
crowded movie theaters, and I hate like obnoxious people in theaters. It drives me
It
up the
depends.
walls.
I don't
It
encounter them that
depends.
much.
You know what drives me the worst is people when you're watching the trailers, they finally start, and these fucking people come walking in and walk right in front of you during. It's like, dude, you've had a half hour to come in and sit down at this movie. Get in here and
That's
don't
part of
walk
your
right in
old
front of
man.
you. I know. I'm just.
That's like
my
people who
plan.
like in sporting events like come down in the middle of a play.
Oh,
it's like
or stand
okay.
up in front of you the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we understand you're a fan, but you know,
Yeah.
$60 ticket over here that wants to see it too.
So that was my movie so far, but what I think it's going to be by the end of the year, on December 1st, they're releasing The Disaster Artist,
You're gonna have to
which
explain
is
this one.
written by James
Yeah,
Franco.
because this is all you, bud. Because I haven't even seen the
Actually, I
original.
take it back. It wasn't written by James Franco. James Franco directed and he's starring in it. It was written by a guy, an actor by the name of Greg Sestero. He was a co-star in a movie called The Room back in the early 2000s.
Widely known as one of the worst movies ever
It
made.
is the Citizen Kane of bad movies, is what it's commonly called. It's one of those just so bad. It's
good.
not. No, it's not good at all.
Did it get a
in any
Razzie?
way. No, it's not even that good. This dude, Tommy Wiseau, who James Franco plays in the movie, the movie and the book is based on the production of this movie, The Room. And this dude, nobody really knows much about him. Even the guy, the actor Greg, who like lived with them and is friends with them and has known him since then and did this movie with them and acted in it. Like he has this weird like Cajun French drawl, and he's got like just leathery skin, and he's craggly black hair, and he's always got glasses on. He's got a lazy eye.
And this is a real dude too.
This is Tommy Wiseau. Oh, Tommy Wiseau. oh, hi, Mark. Oh, yeah. It just if you don't know anything about The Room, either you do or you don't. If you know it, you're
I
getting sick
definitely
of
don't,
what I'm
and I feel like
talking
I
about.
should.
You got to look it up.
Just
It's
go to
hilarious.
YouTube and type in The Room clips or The Room best moments.
It feels like it's on purpose, but it's not.
It's
Like,
not.
It's
This
literally
dude put up like his own. I don't have the actual amount, but this dude put up thousands of dollars. His own. He's just has money. Like he's an entrepreneur. He has like a production company, and he has a bunch of companies and stuff. It's a really good book. I'm
There's
finishing
a
it
book?
now. The Disaster Artist is based off the book,
Oh,
which the actor wrote about the making of this movie. So
Franco looks like he nails it.
Franco
too.
kills it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he really does. Yeah, and it's got Seth Rogen, Sharon Stone, Judd Apatow.
Sharon Stone.
Alison Brie, Hannibal Buress, Bob Odenkirk, bunch of actors in it. So comedic actors. So I think it's going to be a hoot fest. And if it's anything like the book, it's going to be
A hoot fest.
it's going to be emotional somewhat too, and kind of. So I think it'll be good. That will end up being my movie of the year, I believe.
That's very interesting.
So now I can shut up for a little bit.
Jake.
I'm going to do our runner-up first because...
well, we're going to pair up together.
Yeah,
we're gonna
both you and I.
team this one.
I share this.
there's-
I wrote down a little bit about it. I'm sure you got more about it. But our runner-up of the year is John Wick 2.
Yep, came out February 10th, 2017. A neo-noir action thriller starring Keanu Reeves.
It is the follow-up to John Wick, which is one of the best action movies I have ever seen in my life. Keanu Reeves is... We've already talked about this. I've talked about this before. He's a beast. He's so terribly good.
How old did you say he was?
54.
Really?
Yes. And
He's never
worked-
aged. He has
Yes,
vampire blood.
There is videos and there are pictures and stuff on the internet where people say that he has not aged. And you look at him when he's in his 20s and with his scraggly beard and now with his scraggly beard, can't
Dude, he
tell
got
the difference.
transformed in, was it Interview with a Vampire he was in or whatever?
Oh, that was Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, Bram Stoker, yeah. Yeah.
But it
Blah.
has Keanu Reeves, Common,
Yep.
Lawrence Fishburne, the first time they've been paired since the Matrix trilogy.
That was pretty special in my opinion.
It was. Ruby Rose. John Leguizamo. And Ian McShane from Deadwood, of course.
Oh,
and
Ian
the
McShane's awesome.
leader of
Ian
the hotel.
McShane.
To me, this movie just improved on the first.
We can't help you anymore, John.
Yeah. You broke the rules.
You broke the rules.
The best
have
part about this
24
movie,
hours.
it starts out 4 days after the first
The first movie, yep.
and
Yeah,
it goes
right after,
and
I remember.
it goes. There's never a slow part in this movie. It is action.
Tiring.
It's awesome, and that backstory of that world is so interesting. All the assassin world, the people that are everywhere in the world. They did everything great. The action was great. Keanu, you can tell, puts his work in when he's.
Oh, yeah.
when it
I've
comes
seen
to
the
that.
training videos.
Yes, you really should do yourself a favor and check that out too.
That training video is awesome.
It's a rated R James Bond.
Basically,
With more, I feel like, you have HQ, but with this John Wick universe where there's like a League of Assassins.
well, you have Q
Okay, yeah.
in headquarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought of that as well.
But yeah, it definitely is. And they pull no punches with the brutality of it, but it is awesome. And it's legit stuff. It's not like fake martial arts and stuff like that.
I don't know how they do it, honestly.
Well,
it's magic.
yeah, it is. It was directed by Stahinsky.
Chad Stahinsky.
Stahinsky.
Hesky. And it's funny, I looked him up, and the only other movie it says that he's done, maybe this is incorrect, is the first John Wick.
Yeah, he
That's
did
true,
music
I believe,
videos. I believe him and his producer partner did music videos to start.
Oh, okay.
And they're I think commercial work and stuff like that. But it's awesome. If you're ever a fan like Justin is of The Raid, that it reminds me of that kind of thing where it's long fight scenes, it's long intricate deals, and
I love The Raid.
yeah,
The Raid is crazy.
yeah.
And The Raid 2. I heard they're...
That director I just posted the other day.
You sounded so flaccid when I love The Raid.
I think
love
the
it.
director is doing a...
Oh, the Deathstroke movie.
I want to say he's
really?
doing a raid over here, too.
Yes, but they're doing a Deathstroke movie in the Batman universe. You know, this new
That'd be
DC
pretty
universe,
awesome.
and it's the Raid guy, and Deathstroke is an assassin. So
If you haven't
anyway,
seen The Raid, see it.
I love John Wick, and I was so excited when this movie came out, and even with my expectations that what they were,
Oh, they were met.
it was 100% met. The visuals, the music, just the style of everything, and John Wick being John Wick was awesome. And John Wick 3 comes out in March.
Of next year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
2019.
No, 19.
I was
Yeah,
about to
so
say.
they're taking next year off to make the whole
Dude,
movie.
2019 is going to be... Is it lit? Is that what the kids say?
LIT. Yes,
Stacked.
lit. Stacked.
Yep.
Not
Games
like
and
my
movies
fantasy
wise,
bench.
it's going to be pretty awesome.
And plus the fact, I just love Keanu Reeves. I just love him. The guy is...
It's a good role for him.
It's perfect. It's Neo in the real world,
Mm-hmm.
basically what it is. And the guy's good. And I've heard he's a legit good person. Like he's a
You never
genuine
hear about
person.
him. I mean, maybe in the 90s he had a little bit of...
Not
But
really, even it was just his breakups and stuff. Like
yeah,
the people he was
you don't see him
dating,
getting
but-
arrested or getting D-dubs.
Plus his
or,
wife that he'd been married to for like 20 years, didn't she die or something crazy? She got like really sick and died.
Dude, that's so sad.
Yeah,
I was
I
watching a Patton Oswalt stand-up on Netflix the other day that just got released and he was talking about... And I remember seeing him in stand-up and his wife just died. And it's just like, dude, how do people... Okay, sad enough.
But anyway, John Wick kills a lot of people. And just the way it's
Oh,
set
its
up,
head count's high.
it's great. I think in the first, 20 minutes of the movie, he kills probably 80 people.
Well, I'd say
I mean, it's
pretty
awesome.
close.
The only thing it was lacking in my opinion, was more car stuff.
That was right at the very beginning, though.
Right, but it was very limited, and it was all a lot of hand to hand and running. But it was insane. And I heard Common was in this. I'm like, oh my god, I saw him.
Well, he was in
Common's
Smoking
boss.
Aces.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
but that was a tiny part. He had a pretty big part in this movie, and
Yeah.
it was legit. And their end fight was
Common's
awesome.
awesome, man.
Yeah. And
He was in Wanted, wasn't
was
he?
he? Yeah, he was one of the assassins, wasn't he? Yeah.
You know, his boss is Most Def. That dude's awesome.
I don't like some movies. Except Hitchhiker's Guide.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot
he was
about
great.
that.
Yeah.
What other movies is he in? I don't even know.
He was in that one
Be
with Jack
Kind,
Black.
Rewind.
Yeah, I did not like
Oh,
that movie.
I never
That was
saw
just
that.
that was just bad execution. That movie had the potential.
That was a terrible movie. But anyway, yeah. What are your
On to
thoughts
me.
on it? What are your thoughts on John?
John Wick 2? I saw it in the theaters and I was like smiling and giggling the whole time. It was a roller coaster ride, that's for sure.
That's a good way to put it. I had a smile on my face the entire time.
I don't really know why, because the movie is brutally violent, but I don't know. It's just so action-pack filled, and he has so much behind what he's doing. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but the first movie, these gangsters kill his dog, and then he just
and
goes
steal his car
after his wife passes away.
Yep, comes out of retirement.
And what do they call him? The Grim Reaper.
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga. That's
Yeah,
right.
the boogeyman.
The boogeyman.
Yeah, dealing with Russian mob and stuff, of course, because every bad guy has to be a Russian person.
Every bad guy is a Russian person.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm retired.
Basically, what happens in this one, though, it's after the first movie. If you had seen it, it's 4 days after, and a Italian mob guy comes to him with a medallion, which is a marker, which they agreed to as a blood oath. And this blood oath was made because he helped John Wick get out of the life in the first movie with his wife. And he calls this blood marker on him and says, I need you to do something. And John Wick says, I'm retired. I can't do this. And the guy ends up taking out his wrath or whatever. So then John Wick has to agree to do it. And it goes from there. And it is awesome. I can't wait for the third one either, because it leaves it open to like, oh, he's dead now. Everybody's after him now. It's a great action flick. It's the best. Those two movies are some of the best action I've ever seen in my life.
I have to agree.
Yeah, and it's
top notch.
And Keanu's so deadpan with it, but just some of the moves he does are hilarious. Like when he's checking ammo and stuff in his gun, and he's doing these goofy little moves and stuff.
It's a role for him.
Yeah,
definitely.
it's perfect.
It's like Neo and Bill, and it's just all.
It was one of the rare movies this year I went in expecting a lot, and still got what I was looking for,
and more.
Or even that it was just, I went in so many movies this year with expectations, and they crushed me.
Yeah.
So this was one of those ones where I'm like, yes, they did it. They did it right. And I'm excited for the next. So with that, Daryl, you do your movie of the year.
Movie of the year is hands down Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve.
What's your movie?
I'm sorry. I'm
believe it's
sorry if I'm
Villanueva.
butchering that name.
Frenchie.
I believe it's Villanueva, and it's not French. I believe it's Spanish.
Villa Neuve. Okay, anyways. He had other well-received films such as 2016's Arrival and 2015's Sicario. This movie
Good
stars
flick.
Harrison Ford, Ryan Gosling, and Ana de Armas. I've never heard of her, but she does a fantastic job. This is a follow-up from the 1982 Blade Runner original based on Philip K. Dick's novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Have you read that?
I haven't, and I'm thinking about picking it up.
I read it a
honestly.
long time ago.
Really?
Yep.
For school, or what's the subject material? I know it's similar.
It
Well,
was
Philip K. Dick is like a classic
Yeah.
science fiction writer.
It was in my run. We talked about it last week about the yellow pill and things like that. Those old science
Asimov.
Asimov. And
He
stuff.
writes a lot about AI and robots and.
But I couldn't tell you about it, but I remember reading it.
It's
long time ago.
basically. I mean, it's about androids and Blade Runners. Basically, is what the story in there is about.
Blade Runner
so-
Rick Deckard, Harrison Ford must pursue and try to terminate 4 replicants who stole a ship in space and have it returned to Earth to find their creator.
Such a good movie, man.
And then,
Such
so
a
what?
good movie.
What I
They've
remember I
returned
saw
to
it.
Earth, yeah.
And then what's the new one about?
Well,
in
now
vague
37 years later, this new adaptation follows Ryan Gosling, Agent K. A young Blade Runner's discovery of a long-buried secret leads him to track down former Blade Runner Rick Deckard, who's been missing for 30 years.
And Blade Runners are like cops that are that track down androids.
They
like,
retire androids that are.
Now the caveat this time is that Agent K, he's built to obey. Strictly obey. The other ones went Rogue, I think is the name of it. So then his job is just to retire older models. Then he goes
Kill.
into retire.
Careful how much you talk about this because I have not seen this. You and Justin.
The
I know.
opening fight with Dave Bautista,
Dude,
that was pretty bomb. And
Batista's awesome, man.
the makeup they put
I
on him,
didn't-
unless he looks that old.
he looks that old, and I didn't know he was in this, so it surprised me when.
And he puts those little wire rim glasses on. And he starts throwing them through walls and stuff. And like, oh, that was pretty fun.
It was reminiscent.
Great soundtrack.
Yeah, it reminded me of The Punisher a little bit with that fight scene. Not as
Yeah,
brutal,
I remember
but
what you're saying. Yeah, the one with Kevin Nash.
Yes.
Hell yeah, Thomas Jane. That's a great fight scene. I really want to see this movie,
And-
but I'm kind of waiting until it comes out on Blu-ray, and then I'll just buy it because I don't want to. I feel like if I went and saw it in the theater with you guys, you've already seen it, and it's just like,
Well, I'm buying it for sure.
yeah.
Like,
Dude.
hands down.
Their director of photography is Roger Deakins, so every shot is an amazing wide angle.
Hans
Visually.
Zimmer, the soundtrack.
Oh, everything's perfect.
It's
Even the promotional art for that movie was spot on.
I love that shot where he's like on that walkway and that hologram girl's like coming down and like poking at him. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
and there you can see the blue like glowing onto him, and there's like the pink, and I just love the color scheme of that
the
movie.
visuals are
They did a really good
unlike
job with
anything,
continuing
in my
that.
opinion. It's a little bit slow. I mean, it has
It's-
a 2 hour,
Blade Runner
It
was
was
slow.
long.
It has
The
a
original
2
one was
hour and
long and slow. but
45-minute play time.
It did feel like that.
I think Final Cut is right around 3 hours. 3 hours and some odd for
Right
the
here,
original. So
I saw it twice in theaters. The first time I was just in absolute awe. I felt like all the shots were so serene and the music matched so well. I actually saw it in IMAX. So
now, if you watch this, the other one first, the original first, if you watch that, is it cohesive with this new one? Like
think
the
so.
look and everything else about
I
it.
think so. Justin, what would you say about that?
Yes.
It's
I
still
haven't
got
seen
that, like,
Blade
that
Runner in a
washed
few
out look.
years, but it.
The
Yeah.
costumes, the world design, yes.
Well, still being unique.
One thing
they
I-
didn't beat a dead horse.
Is Harrison Ford good still in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, man.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Only thing I will say, he's not like a major
No, yeah.
deal.
yeah.
Ryan Gosling is the main guy.
How's Gosling? Good.
He does a really good job, I think, and the whole subject matter of whether or not he has a soul and trying to figure out himself. Oh, I guess that means we're all over this episode. Well, thanks for sticking around, everybody. Apparently, that's when we stopped the last time. We've reached our cap.
Yeah.
We're
Justin said it's time to go. Do you have to poop or something?
that kind of scared me. It came out of
That
nowhere.
scared me too.
I
I was
lost my
like,
train
oh,
of
yeah.
thought there.
Oh well, things happen. We're
Yeah.
just three guys in a basement, and
Jake, what's your movie of the year?
So that's it for Blade Runner. You done?
I just wanted to say that the soundtrack makes the movie, the visuals, the overall story arc, very satisfying, worth a watch. I wish more people would support it because it needs support. I'm definitely going to
It's
buy it.
amazing that it hasn't done that well.
No,
It really
it's
shocks me.
the runtime.
Well, I think also it's Blade Runner back in the day, even like when my mom was, whatever, in her 30s, when that movie came out, it was still a niche movie.
Oh yeah.
It only became
Well, it had that weird narration. over it.
it became a cult classic.
yeah,
and
it
now
was-
we think of it more of as a mainstream
Well,
movie.
the
but it
first
wasn't.
adaptation was like a noir film. Anyways, go see the movie. It's worth it. I had a great time. Next to, I'm sure, Star Wars, which is going to be great.
It's gonna
Just
don't
this
even get me
movie
started.
so far is what I'm picking for movie of the year.
all right.
Jake, thank you.
My movie of the year was not going to be this, but then I realized it did come out this year, and Daryl tried to talk me out of this. I know subliminally, but then I found out you didn't ever see this movie. You saw this movie, right, Justin?
I forgot. Refresh all
Split.
of my memories. Yes, I did just watch Split. I told you to watch it.
Yes, I think you recommended it to me.
I could not find it on Redbox.
It's there. That's where I got
It's
it.
also on HBO right now.
Oh,
That's
I
when I saw
discontinued
it.
that because Game of Thrones is like 8 years away. So
Yeah, no kidding. It was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Now, when I heard that, I was like, no, thank you, because I've seen everything he's done, and
he's
it's
been
all
on,
been
like,
terrible except for his original stuff, like Sixth Sense
yeah.
and Unbreakable.
He's on like a
what about Signs?
3-movie loss right now.
You would think that as a guy with alien tattoos on my arm, you would think I'd love Signs. I did not like that movie.
Science is a bomb.
There's a few scenes
A few scenes, but the movie in
with a
general,
little girl like, "Daddy, what's on the roof?"
yeah, I mean, there was parts, but it was
That's freaky.
Or the birthday party when it like walks across that alley when he's like watching it on that little TV in their closet and they're like, "We're gonna cut to this. There may be some
Yeah, but it
disturbing
was so
footage," and it like walks
CGI.
across. It's just like,
Eh.
ugh.
Whoa.
Eh.
It's just the way he's moving. Sorry.
That, I liked Lady in the Water. That was cool.
Never saw
okay,
it.
you don't like signs, but you
Dude, Lady in the Water, if you look at it,
I never saw it. I never saw it.
As an RPG gamer, it's awesome if you put it in that context. Because that's what it was about. It was like a Lord of the Rings world or like RPG world, like where people had. Anyway,
I don't
watch
think anybody liked The Happening.
Happening was god
Terrible.
awful, but Mark Wahlberg was part of it, so there you go.
Yeah, he's hit or miss.
In a dramatic pause. Anyway,
yeah,
about The
he came back
Village?
with this one.
I hated The Village because I predicted 5 minutes in that movie, I knew what was going on.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
dumb too.
It was terrible.
I wish that didn't have the same resolution. Like if they were actually, it's 9 years old. If they're actually monsters, it would have been a lot better.
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan, produced by Jason Blum and Mark Beinstock, starring James McAvoy, who is the shit in this movie, by the way. Anya Taylor-Joy,
She was in The Witch.
and she's very good.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Betty Buckley, the psychiatrist in it, she's very good too.
The older lady, yeah.
It's about a guy, Kevin Wendell Crumb. He's got 23 separate personalities. At the beginning of the movie, he kidnaps these 3 girls. Taylor.
Intense opening. I remember being like, "Oh."
It starts right away. And Taylor Joy is one of the girls that she's kind of an outcast of the group, and they're giving her a ride home, and he kidnaps them basically, and he holds them. He has 23 different personalities. Barry is the most dominant one. He's the what do you call it when you have that disorder where you're always got to make sure everything's perfect. OCD. But he's also like a freak.
Yeah.
He likes to watch girls dance naked, things like this.
Yeah, he's a voyeur kind of.
He also has a personality, Dennis and Patricia, who are very creepy. But they worship this other personality called the Beast. That the Beast is coming. The Beast is coming. That's the whole premise of the movie. He also plays Hedwig, which is a 9-year-old little boy.
Hedwig is awesome.
So this
that was
is
my favorite
McAvoy
character.
doing all of these characters switching on a dime, and it is stunning. When he plays Patricia, it is
Yeah, he puts on that
strange.
dress.
Just a
and-
dress, but he doesn't put a wig on or anything like that. It's crazy.
Don't spoil it for me.
It's not spoiling.
No, that's all
It's
in
just
the
part of the regular
trailer
thing.
and stuff.
Okay.
Now, I am going to say this. It is part of the Unbreakable universe in M. Night Shyamalan. This is one of the things that he wanted to do was continue the. If you've ever seen Unbreakable with Samuel L. Jackson,
Bruce
and
Willis.
Bruce Willis, I love that movie. That's just
It's
my
one of his
opinion.
stronger movies.
But it's loosely based in that universe. And when you put it in that context, the movie's amazing. At the very end of it, I was still like, I'm gonna have to watch that again because you keep hearing about the Beast, and that whole thing when it comes to a head it's amazing. In M.
That
Night
was
Shyamalan's
that performance when he's doing the Beast
Yes.
at the end.
yeah, when the bars, oh my god! But that's M. Night Shyamalan at his best. Is this kind of thing when he's trying to do a bigger picture and he's like trying to expound on things. It doesn't
Issues.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy does.
He
these
definitely
movies
does thrillers
perfect.
the best.
Right. And it has been announced that Glass, the trilogy, the third part of this whole series is coming out, 2019 or next year? I think we looked up. It's either, it doesn't matter. It's
2019, the year for all the good stuff.
right. So this is part of that trilogy. When you take it in that context, if you loved Unbreakable, if you like Sixth Sense, if you like those older Shyamalan movies, you will love this movie. It's that style. It's
Yeah.
creepy. It's dirty. It feels gross.
Yeah.
But it's not over. Like there's violence in it, but it's not over.
Yeah, there's not like gore.
Right. It's not a rated
It's
R
tension.
movie. It's a PG-13 movie. So it's like,
And there's some, yeah.
but it's really good. And the lead actress in it, Taylor Joy, she was really, really good. I really
Strong
really
female
love this
lead.
movie. Yeah, strong female lead. McAvoy proved his worth to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wasted on the X-Men franchise as far as I'm concerned. This
yeah.
guy's got something going. So I would recommend it to you, Daryl, for sure. If you liked Unbreakable, you like Unbreakable, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson did a hell of a job.
Bruce Willis was awesome in it. The writing of it was great.
That's a dark movie too.
And when you start I don't know if it's better to not think about that while you're watching the movie, but it's once it gets down towards the end and you realize it's in this universe, it puts it in a whole new perspective. And it's like this vision for this, like, hero / regular person movie, franchise is the way he's doing it is brilliant. It's really brilliant.
I'm gonna have to pick it. I just might buy it now that you said all that.
Well,
Do you think
I don't
it's
know
worth
if
a
I
buy?
could recommend it for. Well, yeah, I suppose if we're being
If you're
movie
saying
guys,
movie of the year,
well, me and Justin are like collector guys, but you got a lot of stuff too.
a lot of people would contest like Dunkirk and things of like that. I haven't seen it, and I'm sure it's spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, take that into consideration.
Right,
That
and
I haven't seen
right.
much.
And there's been a lot of movies I have not seen this year. I'm talking about the ones that got me this year, where I was like, "That is good."
even mass market, like big theater, but I haven't seen
Not
like
Alien
much
Covenant?
indie movie.
Alien Covenant
I didn't
didn't
like
make
Alien
it?
Covenant really. It just
Spider-Man.
I mean, I haven't
that was
seen
close,
that.
but there
was
was
a
weaknesses in it, and it was a comic book movie. Like it's like
But the writing was so good though.
it is good, but it should be good. It's by all
Yeah.
the stuff is written for you already.
Well, not
I
the
like,
reboots.
And
Yeah,
Logan
I'm
was
so done with superhero.
Logan for me was very close. That was originally on my list, but there was parts in that Brian Singerized it, and I freaking hate it. There was parts that
Brian
he changed.
singed it.
Yeah, he changes things in that universe that it really drives me crazy. But the old man Logan parts, the brutality of that movie and the sadness of that movie was the Wolverine movie I've wanted to see for the last 10 years.
Yes.
That was
Especially rated R.
Yes, they should have
Agreed.
started out that way.
I think they're pushing towards that because most people that got into those comic books, I mean, obviously this is like an obvious answer, but we've grown up with it. So now the people that are older, we're allowed to watch
Yeah, we're
those.
maturing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why they're making those type of movies, and that's why they're selling, because it's what the audience really wants. I mean, those graphic novels, they weren't
Patrick
kid
Stewart.
friendly all the time.
Patrick Stewart in that movie was so great.
He's so great.
So great.
Taco
And-
Bell commercial.
And freaking Logan, man, the guy, I don't like any of his other movies.
Hugh Jackman,
Jackman.
The Prestige.
Okay. Yes.
We can get into discussion
That's like
about
12
that.
years
But I don't really like most of his other stuff, and he nails Wolverine.
He does.
Nails it. And
Yeah.
it's sad that that's the
Who
last
could
one.
do it better?
Nobody.
Tom Hardy.
I wouldn't
He
like
could get
that.
the savage part of it. I think him being Venom that's
I like that.
Is that the
awesome.
case?
yeah.
That will be the case.
You know, they started filming
2019.
started filming that movie.
It will be a very good year.
We have any other movies?
Don't you?
No, I'm out. That's it.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
we did our shout outs and stuff, and
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do a secret question. What's that?
soundtracks.
Oh, we're going to hit that next week. We're kind of running
Oh.
out of time this week,
All right.
unfortunately. Yeah. Next week, we're going to be talking about what movies we're in television. Next week, we're going to talk about what movies we wish were television shows. We'll be touching on Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, a little bit more on Assassin's Creed Origins, and some of our favorite movies of all time. Raise your hand if you're excited for Justice League.
Yep.
Thor Ragnarok. I was
Yep.
excited. I saw it. Loved it.
Meh.
Okay. Yeah. We go.
Justin his sour shoes over there.
Like I said, I'm just done with superhero.
We're excited because we are, and also some Game of the Year contenders. And also some Game of the Year contenders that maybe didn't quite make the list. We'll touch on that quick. What's your favorite game or movie from this last year? Favorite soundtrack of all time? We want to hear from you, Cyberbots. That's right. You can email us at cyberlunch1@outlook.com or contact us via Facebook page at Cyberlunch.
Comment on our YouTube video too. You can do it that way.
Thank you so much for sticking with us. We are looking forward to seeing you again next week for another lunchroom discussion.
I have to say one other thing about because Justin's like, I'm sick of this comic hero
Yeah.
thing. I was just telling him that a little bit ago when we went and saw Spider-Man. You know how Marvel does the first lead in when it's like all the pages
Yeah.
of their comics, and they started from Iron Man 1 and they went all the way up to this what we're at now. And I sat there and was just like, we've had 12, 13 years of awesome superhero movies that I would never have imagined that we saw. So getting ready for Infinity War and things like that. That's where Spider-Man fits.
We're
It
coming
doesn't
up in the
fit.
final phase of
Yeah,
their
it's the
project.
final
I
phase,
remember-
and they're gonna reboot it and start over with other things. That's when I'm starting to get kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
But just seeing all those, like even the old Hulk movies, how they switched around and stuff, and the original Thor and things like that. It was just like, I remember when this all started, and it was like, okay, and it just they got increasing.
Well, now we're going to the Infinity War.
Yeah.
and
I remember
all
when like
that.
X-Men 1 and like Spider-Man 1 came out and like how
Yep.
different that was.
the first X-Men movie. I was like, whoa.
I think I just had a preemptive end because I just said thanks for sticking around, and then we went into
No,
that
that's
whole
okay.
deal.
We need your secret
Well, let's
question
do
for
the
the week
secret
anyway.
question.
So
I think we're gonna save the secret question for the beginning of next week.
what?
Okay.
You can't do that.
Really?
No.
Okay.
We gotta do it.
Just
now.
do it.
We're
Okay.
already this far in. Let's just.
I guess. All right. Secret question for this week, and you guys are gonna like this one. What game or movie would you show your 10-year-old self?
Game or movie would I show my 10-year-old self?
Do you have one?
Yes, probably the original or the remake of Doom.
Oh, okay.
Why?
It would just blow my mind and
Yeah.
probably scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Like,
I think for me it's Grand Theft Auto 3.
Really?
That first open
You don't want to
world,
set
do
too
whatever
high
you want.
expectations. What if you showed yourself Grand Theft Auto 5?
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't want to. Then what is there to look forward to? Then I'm gonna have to slog through all this BS the rest of my life.
VR?
Yeah, that's to me is long ways away. That's 10 years out to me.
Still,
to be good. But I think that's what it would be. The first open world, like do whatever you want game. I think that was what I would show and be like, this is what's coming.
Yeah.
I think that's my answer for that.
That's
yeah.
a good one.
I'm stumped, man.
Really?
It's a tough one. Like, would you
yeah.
want to know? I kind of
That's
like
kinda what I was
those
thinking. It's
incremental
just like-
jumps are like, this is when I'm excited. I was
It's-
telling you
it's
last
the slow,
night.
gradual process. That's
Yeah,
so.
I was just telling you last night when we were watching those trailers, and it's like these are the ages where I was always dreaming of as a gamer, like that you can actually visually put out there what you're trying to get across, because the
I remember you saying
graphics and the engines and the all the components that go into a video game are so far advanced right now. It's exciting time.
If anything that I would like to show myself is like things that I like at that age that are still alive today. Be like, dude, look, Ninja Turtle is still kicking it. They suck. Ghostbusters is still kicking it. It sucks, but I mean, be like,
They're
dude, look, all
trying.
this stuff
That's what
that
I
you
would-
like is still gonna be around when you're an adult.
I changed my answer. I would show myself all the flops and just be like, you are not going to have anything.
Enjoy
fun
it while
in
it
your life."
lasts.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Oh,
exactly
that's pretty
what I would
good.
do.
That's pretty good.
Oh, I got 2 more alerts from my fantasy team. We should.
Yeah.
Check on that.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Watch out,
I hope
Justin.
they're
I'm
injury
coming
reports.
All right.
for you. I'm coming for
All
you.
right.
Yeah, there probably are injury reports.
You guys getting full? I'm kind of full.
Yeah, I'm full.
Yeah, let's leave this table. Let somebody else clean
Thanks
up
for
this
listening
mess.
again.
Thank
bud.
you for sticking with us. We're looking forward to seeing you again next week for another lunchroom discussion. I'm Daryl.
I'm
Jake.
Justin.
Oh, okay. Now you're gonna step on me. When I
Well,
do
you were
that.
in the middle of a drink.
Hey, man, I'm a professional.
We're
I know how to
Cyber
do
Lunch, and we're out.
this. Peace.
These guys.
Yeah, Wolvies, baby.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now you're
No,
on the board.
no, I watched it.